I once read somewhere that marketing is the price you pay for being invisible, and I'm going to help you fix that today. So imagine with me that you're the first name that pops up if someone goes to Google and type in wedding planner in your area. That feels good, right? Just imagine being at the top of the search and being one of the first vendors that they interact with. Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing how to get to page one of Google and how you can use that to increase your inquiries this year. And stick around until the end because I'm going to drop a question that I promise is going to have you thinking about a day or two. And I want you to drop your answers to the question in the comment box and let me know, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. So here's the thing. Most couples will start their journey on YouTube when they're researching their vendors. And if you can be at the top of the search, this means that you get more visibility, more traffic to your website, more inquiries, more leads, and ultimately more bookings. So if that's the place that you want to be in, just pay attention to these tips, make lots of notes, and let me know if you have any questions along the way. So I'm going to start with the basics. These are the foundational things that you need to have in place. And if you don't, please get them set up before you try any of the other strategies. So here are some of the things you need to look at. First, you want to start with your keyword research. That's just another basic one. And the reason you need to start with that is because you need to understand how people are navigating the internet and how they're finding you. Now, there are tools that you can use to do that. I'll drop a couple of them. You can use Google Keyword Planner, Ubersuggest, SEMrush. There are lots of tools you can start with. And the key to using that is you just need to go to these tools, type in your area. Let's your wedding planner, just put in wedding planner Houston and see what some of the key terms are. The great thing about these tools is that they also will tell you related searches. So even if you think, I don't know exactly what a client might search, the good thing about them is that they'll give you suggestions and they'll give you ideas. And you want to pay attention to those because these are the terms that you're going to be using on your website so that Google can do what it does and match you to your ideal clients. Which bring me to the next part of this. One of the basic things that you need to have set up is your website. Your website is going to be the thing that's going to propel you to the top of a search along with your Google business profile, but I'll touch on that in a bit. So your website content need to be included in a lot of keywords that someone would be searching when they come to Google, because if it doesn't, Google can't do that matchmaking service that it does to help you get your ideal clients on your web page. The other piece you need to focus on is your Google Business Profile. So your Google Business Profile is another way for you to get on page one, but this time it's on the maps. Google Business Profile is local, so it's location based. And if you have a physical location, even better. When someone searches, if you're close to them, you're more likely to show up. Or if you have a service area, it's also still good. You can still show up in that service area for the client once your profile is optimized. So what does that mean for your website and your Google Business Listing when I say optimized? It means that the content that's on there needs to be matching what someone is searching and needs to be helpful in answering any questions that they might have. This is why I say you need to have keywords and it needs to be focused on your local area. So think about your website. When someone comes there, you want to make sure that they understand you are a wedding planner in Houston. Let's say you live in Houston, right? And I have been to too many websites where, guys, I've been to a website where I went through the entire content and did a lead generation audit for someone recently. And through the entire process, going through multiple pages on their site, I could not tell you where they were located. You cannot have that because, one, if your location is also not mentioned, that's a missed opportunity for you to show up in a local search for a client that's looking for your service, right? So ensure that those things are optimized. The same goes for your Google Business Profile, the content on there, the photos that you share, put in your service area, your category. All these things are what helps someone to find you. So they're looking for a service and you're based in that, in like your category matches that. Or if you're in a certain location and your service area or address matches that, then Google will do that match for you. So those are the foundational stuff I need you to have in place. But let's step it up a bit because we all know if having the basics in place was the only thing you needed, you'd already be on page one and you wouldn't be watching this video. So let me go walk you through. The other thing you need to look at is your content, right? A part of searching online is that you type in a question, Google does a match, as I said earlier, and it's trying to match the content in different places. So if the content on your assets, let's say your website is not matching what someone is searching, then Google is not going to show your site. So one of the main ways to do that is through the content on your site. So on your website, the content on the front end should be matching your queries that your potential clients are looking for, or it should be having keywords that your potential clients are searching. On the back end, the same is true. So think about your page title, your page URL, your meta description, right? Which is how you tell Google what a page is about on the back end of your site. All of those things are content that Google uses to match. The other piece that you can use to build your content are blogs. So, one way, if the content on your site is not enough, you can build a lot of your traffic through blog posts. So, your blogs, you want to think about some of the questions that your potential clients might have. Now, this one is tricky because sometimes I go to some websites and the content on their site is good content, but it's not targeting clients at the stage where they need them to be. So, I want you to think about your clients in three stages. So, I want you to think about them in the beginning stage when they just got engaged. What kind of questions would they have? Then I want you to think about them in the messy middle, the point where they realize they can't do it by themselves and they actually need a wedding planner. What are some of the questions they might have? And then I also want you to think about them towards the end, the place where they are DIYing the wedding. They're going to do it all on their own, but they do want a day of coordinator who can assist them without them having to work on the day. What are some of the things they would be asking or searching for? Look at those three stages, and that's how you create your content so that you can directly link that to the type of service that you're providing. Now, if you're not a wedding planner, I want you to just use this example and roll it into your scenario. But those are the ways that you need to ensure that you're creating content. So you can do that through your blog posts. If they're at the beginning of their journey, you want to ensure that you're using a lot of content that's at the top of the funnel. So when someone just get engaged, what are they looking for? I always use this example and I'll use it until it's tired, but that's their venue, right? They're going to start with the venue. It's one of the first things that they try to look for. So if you can target them at that stage with blog posts, it's a great way to do that. You can talk about the different venues in your area. You can review venues that you've worked with. You can say in within the post, here are some ways that I've used the venue. If you need questions, let me know. If you want me to take you on a venue tour, I can arrange it all. Use your blog content to drive additional traffic. The next piece, and this one just leads right into it, is your frequently asked questions. So, yes, you probably have clients that you've worked with already and you know the question that they ask. These are the same question that every client after that they'll probably have. So, ensure that you're using these frequently asked questions in a way that's going to bring you more business. So, that's your blog post. You can use them to inform blog posts, but you can also put up a frequently asked questions page on your site and answer them. And if you're at the point where you probably haven't worked with a ton of clients, that's okay. You can use a tool like Answer the Public to find questions that someone might be asking related to your specific business and service, and then use those to list them on your site. Google also has a Google suggestion page or a Google suggestion section within each page whenever you do a search. That's also another great place that you can use to find questions. Those put them on your site because once you have those queries on your site and someone is searching that on Google, bada bing, they do the match and then they find you. Let's go even deeper and we're going to talk about backlinks. Google loves backlinks, but what are backlinks? Backlinks is essentially when another website links to your site or to your business. And here's the thing, Google really loves it because it tells them there's another site out there that thought your website was helpful enough or a good resource enough to link to you. So you're a reputable business or your website has good, helpful information. These are good signals. Here is how you can get backlinks quickly. Now, one of the first ways that you can do this is just to go through your relationships that you already have with your vendors. So if you have vendors that you've worked with, maybe you've planned different events, you notice that the photographers posted on their site or the caterers posted on their site about an event that you all worked on together, you can reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed you posted on your site. Can you ensure that I'm linked as a planner and has a link back to my site? Those are some very easy ways that you can build backlinks. But let's say you don't have that. Another way you can do that is through the directory listings. Think about all the places locally that you can add and advertise your business, even if it's for free. So your local chamber of commerce or directories like Eventective, Zola, Party Slate, Bark, what else? Thumbtack. There's so many of them. Just get your business listed because some of them will do a link back to your site. And it's an additional way that Google can say, yes, this business is out there. It's reputable. People are linking to it. It's a good resource. Let me show them in the search. And last but certainly not least, and before I get into that question that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, are reviews. Google loves reviews. Okay, I know I've said it. Google loves a lot of things, but Google really loves reviews because in addition to backlinks from other websites, the other thing that really solidifies that your website is helpful and that you're a good, reputable company is a review from a customer that's actually worked with you. So here's what I want you to do. Build up your Google business profile with reviews. If you have clients that haven't reviewed reviewed your businesses yet, send them a link to your Google business profile and get them to leave you a review. And if you have review on your profile that you haven't responded to as yet, please do go ahead and respond to them, because your response is also very helpful for Google when it's doing any keyword matching. Because here's a little trick I want to share with you. I'm going to whisper. Google actually does look for keywords in your reviews, and not only in the reviews that your customer leaves, but also in the review response that you leave. So be mindful of that. Now, here's the thing I'm not going to say. I don't want you to do any keyword stuffing, but if you know what keywords would be helpful to show up in a search, how you respond to that should be customized. Wink, wink. Okay, but let's get into it. Now, here's one thing I want to caution you about. Even if the reviews that's been left by someone on your site is not good, it's negative, I still want you to respond to that, because that is very helpful for Google, but it's also helpful for people who are coming to your profile and who might just be clicking over to your website but decide not to because there's not a response. And I'm going to give you an example actually using one of my clients. So, one of my clients has amazing reviews on her Google business profile. Amazing reviews, like 5-star reviews across the board, and hundreds of them. Now, here's what happened. She had an incident where she's a venue and she had a client on site. The client was intoxicated and was still trying to get alcohol, and the bartender cut them off. Well, that client went ahead and left a review saying the business was basically not a good business to work with, was not a good venue. Now, here's the thing. If you leave a review like that unanswered, someone coming to your listing and finding your business might just think, okay, well, I see this bad review. I wonder if there's any truth to it. And they're not going to reach out to you to get a response to ask what happened. But if you respond to that review and say, and she did, by the way, and she did an amazing job, was just responding to the review to say, listen, here's what happened. I'm sorry that you had that experience, but we have policies in place. Like, there are certain safety regulations that we have to abide by as an establishment, and we cannot continue serving if someone is intoxicated, because that's presenting safety issues once you leave our property. There are so many liabilities involved, right? But once she responded, and you could see her response. Now, if you're someone that came and saw a response like that, you would have a very different opinion of that establishment as opposed to if that review was left unanswered. Now, I'm going to drop 2 bonus tips that will help you to rank locally for your area. Now, I mentioned one of them earlier, but I didn't go into too much details, and here's what it is. You need to ensure that you're using location-based keywords throughout your content, your website, your blog post, your Google business profile, all of it, right? Even on Pinterest, right? It's another search engine. Ensure that you're using location-specific keywords, because when someone is searching and they're in a particular location, it makes it easier for Google to understand that you're in the same area. So even if you have wedding planner all throughout your website and you think that's enough because someone will be searching wedding planner, you actually do need to make it local. So if you're in Atlanta, put wedding planner Atlanta. Use those keywords that are local. It will help you to show up in local searches. And those are the clients you want. Now, if those are not the clients you're targeting, that's a whole different story. The second tip is that you actually need to use location-based pages. And this is a really good way for Google to say, okay, they're serious, right? And look at it this way. If you say that you serve multiple locations, so maybe I'm in Toronto, so I might say I serve Toronto and I serve Vancouver. If I have pages on my site that's saying Wedding Planner Toronto and Wedding Planner Vancouver, and the content on that site is specific to those cities, Google loves that because it tells them, yes, this person actually is serving those locations because they have specific local pages that also corroborate what they're saying over here on Google Business Profile. So those are my 2 bonus tips. Now, I did mention in the beginning that I'm going to drop a question for you, and here it is. Now, I have clients that I've met who they come to me and they're on page 1 of Google and they're still not seeing any inquiries. So I want to know, what do you think it is? If you get to page 1 and you're getting traffic to your site, but you're still not seeing any inquiries, what do you think it might be? Well, I'm going to help you answer that in my next video.